Now, all I'm saying is, man, punching a hole in the ballot box or electing who you think is your favorite politician, especially a black politician, is not going to solve most of the problems currently facing the African American community.
I know we've had all kind of presidents and our situation hasn't changed. So that's why I said they're pretty much all the same when it comes to a president and dealing with our situation.
It's not going to stop white supremacy. It's not going to stop black unemployment or underemployment. It's not going to stop failing schools. It's not going to stop black people shooting and killing one another. It ain't.
It is here where Dr. Green Gorilla challenges us to expand our idea of what democracy in action actually looks like. He points to history, the history of black people that motivated great social change, reflecting on the times that created the most change for not only black people, but people in the history of democracies. All are based on actions of people more so than the votes they actually cast.
Now, the downside, I think, of being non-reflective and just accepting the economic characterization of democracy is what prevents black leaders and ordinary African-American citizens from recognizing that the extra constitutional measures and the insurrectionist actions of the civil rights movement and the abolitionist movement, that was democracy for us. And instead of encouraging the black public to do what they have done before, or what we have been doing recently, to tell them to go out and vote, that's a bait and switch. Right now, you have a group of people, a black managerial class, who's been able to co-opt grassroots movements. So all of the activities that black people have been engaging in since Ferguson, Missouri, have been taken over by white liberals in black faces who are pushing a certain kind of politics. You all know what kind of politics it is. You know what it is. Intersectional politics is what it is.
It's rooted in returning white Christian men, but also white men, white adjacent men, you know, right. Black men, brown men who are like white adjacent in terms of trying to also be in that dominant position in society. And then you have women who are willing to go along with that.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't have a problem.
Yep, good old bald head Reeve for you.
With it, but I do have a problem with it to the extent to which it's basically taking the power away from the people who started these movements, who basically are left dead or left incarcerated or left with cases, and all y'all doing is trying to put gay people in office, or you're trying to put trans women in office, or you're trying to put black women in office. That's not democracy, man. You are basically foiling democracy. These people are stopping and preventing it. And that's a travesty of justice, as far as I'm concerned. That's a form of oppression, as far as I'm concerned. Let the people speak for themselves. That's what needs to be done.
While some might take alarm at the directness at which Green Gorilla explains how often black political energy, and in many cases, if not most, black male political energy is co-opted after an unfortunate taking of black male life, the point he makes is one that is very direct and to the point. Each group of people has to fight their own battles, and for black men, that means that black men have to fight our own battles for ourselves first. What can no longer happen is for black male political capital to be usurped, as it was with Black Lives Matter, or as some people say, big and large mansions.
So what I'm saying is, instead of encouraging us to act democratically in order to improve our condition, black politicians, social critics, they fooled themselves, and they even fooling members of the black community into thinking that voting is democracy, and that voting is the principal means by which to practice self-governance. As far as I'm concerned, that's unfortunate. So now everything is going from rebel rousing in the streets, making demands, drawing up plans, asking people who are in power to listen to the demands of people on the ground. All of a sudden now we supposed to just go vote. That's not democracy, man.
It's not.
It ain't democracy.
I gotta ask this question. Because you're on this show with the Cocktails with the Queens. And there's a reason for that. It wasn't to have you defend or not defend Donald Trump. It was about, I care about what's in this contract with Black America for women. And it's not, we're not mentioned at all in the contract with Black America. And I want to know.
Ice Cube is the better man. As soon as that man start talking to those women, you know what? You know what came out of their mouth?
I mean, when you mention black people, you mentioning black women. So don't count yourself out.
No,
Yes,
that's
you
not
are.
true.
Yeah. Y'all
Well,
need
again, they look at themselves as a separate group. That's been known, but all Looking Gorilla is actually saying is that it wasn't here until the last 30 months, 36 months that black men realized that black women have never been community oriented. They're just getting things for themselves. And
pretty much, yes.
yeah, and the reason that is because they're like I said, their dirty secret has always been that they know the dominant society will give them things because they're not seen as a threat. Whereas that if the men were to get things, the other groups of men, I've said this before, the other groups of men would consider that a threat. So black women have known that. So one of the things they have to do to keep getting, I just call it butter biscuits, to keep getting their butter biscuits is they have to bring black men along to the polls because that's their deal. You keep bringing this fodder to the polls to help getting our people elected and we will give you things. So, and that's what's been happening. It's the last 3 to 5 years that black men have just started to realize, well, black women aren't community oriented. What they're saying is, well, what's best for black women is what's best for the black community, but that simply isn't true. And that is one of the things I have said, at least on social media, is, and I know Dennis Sperling talked about it. Look, if and when Harris loses, and she is going to lose, she's giving them a moment of pause, kind of like Hackett said on Mass Effect, like, hey, Erdnot Rex going, taking the Krogan to to help the other groups has given the Reapers a moment of pause, but it's just a moment of pause, and they'll, like Trump and Vance, they'll recover. They have more room to play than Harris, and Harris can maybe put Wisconsin back in play. Well, make it a lean Democratic state again. That's why she first speech was in Milwaukee. If she picks Cooper, maybe North Carolina. If she picks Shapiro, maybe Pennsylvania. Kelly, I don't think it matters because Trump is up by 6 points in Arizona. So if they shave off 2 to 3 points, which they can. But overall, that's what has happened. And the reason why you're seeing people get into their feelings is that it's simple. I hate to say this, but it's because black women still want black men to do patriarchal things, but don't want to help procure the resources to do those things. They're just out here saying that the men should do it on the strength of this being a man, and not get any rewards for anything. That's what they want. Again, how do we get things out of men without having to deal with the men? That's why they don't like no fault divorce. That's why they don't like us. Like, okay, I just can't come home and say I'm going on a girls' trip. And it's like, oh yeah, you still can. You can go, but if your husband says, I'm filing because I'm not, we didn't get married for you to go on girls' trips. That's not what we got married for. So, and again, she can still go. She'll just be getting a divorce. So it really has just gotten to a point where what Kamala Harris and whoever she has successfully done over the last week is she's gotten people to start, to drudge down and get into the mud and Trump and them have taken that bait, call her a DEI hire. That Trump needs to talk about him and Vance's policies. And even Kevin McCarthy said that's stupid to say that. What about your policy? So she's got to start talking about policy too, but it's hard for her to do. She doesn't have a VP yet, and she's up against it. I mean, she's got like 12 more days to get a VP. So, but that's all that has happened is that the men have realized what the women were doing, and it's going to be harder to do. Again, most black men are still going to vote for Kamala Harris. Most
likely, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know why it comes across like people are surprised that it's just they're going to have a lower turnout. So that's why and they have said this, their number one issue is with abortion, not anything else, not police reform, not reparations, if that's what you're on to. not whatever. It is because that they know that will help them drive up numbers with white suburban women, and they can point to the fact they beat it. Kansas is a lily red state, but they kept abortion. Ohio did it too, but then the Ohio legislator overturned it. So those are red. So what they have in front of them, they can say, okay, well, this got these white women to vote. That, and again, I'm sure you saw Roly Poly Martin putting out, the whole thing on trying to, they've been reduced to trying to shame white women, because they know they can't trust black men to show up.
Roly they got bold. He's trying to shame Obama now.
Yeah, and and again, Obama believes in the constitutional process of an open. I've always said, well, if Biden steps down,
open primary,
they should have an open primary. That's what they should do. That's what the convention's for.
From what I've been hearing, they're actually planning to nominate Kamala before the convention. From what I've been hearing.
Well, she has delegates now. So it's just she's got to pick a VP, and then they out there and get on message. But they're not going to win Michigan because the Michigan in Dearborn, you have a large Muslim contingent, and they don't care what Hamas did on the 7th. Like, they don't care. They're just like, you are out there just killing everybody. And I told a guy the other day, you can't come into somebody else's house and piss and shit on the floor, then be shocked at the way you're getting handled. Because he won't say, oh, it's okay, and start cleaning up what you did. No, if he starts kicking your ass up and down the street, that's the whole thing. Like Rambo said to Troutman. When Troutman said, can't have you out here, John, you're killing innocent civilians. And what did Rambo say? There are no innocent civilians. So, so there aren't any innocent civilians because they're hiding amongst the Palestinians. So it is what it is. But all that's happening between black men and black women is not hard, but I get it. These guys want super chat money. They want donations. So they're just going to Officer Charles.
Speaking of which, I got 22 watching. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the cash app, support the show. Hit the super chat, support the show.
So by default, it's not in their best interest to just say, okay, here's what's going on. It's like, seriously, it's like, because this is old news. It's like, okay, they look at themselves as separate. They want things specifically for them, and they are not community minded. Now, black men just woke up to this reality when, during the pandemic, not all, because again, they will go, like Love Dorsey said, these women will go out and get with a compromised dude who shit's not together because they have an inferiority complex. So it's like, well, why would she get with somebody who has their shit together? Her inferiority complex kicks in. Well, he can just leave me anytime he wants. This other dude was locked up. He needs me. And, he's just I'm not going to just come home and all my shit be gone. He may go upside her head. That's what Love Dorsey was saying. Okay, he goes upside her head. Now she's a victim. So that's what they've done. And what Trump and Vance are doing is they threaten that. They overtly are threatening to take that away from not just black women, but all women. You're not going to be able to be a victim anymore. And that's what you are literally seeing. That's when I love when BGS said years ago, the women will change when the environment changes.
Yeah.
Only thing, and Trump and Vance threaten that environment. The only thing I've added to that is once Harris loses, one, they're gonna pin it on black women. That's the first thing they're going to do. They're not going to pin it on nobody else. And once they pin it on black women, when black women make that turn to try to come back, what are the men going to do then? Because ultimately, whatever happens after the election is more important than what's happening during the election. Yes, the women are going to get you
video out.
Yeah, so the women are going to gaslight.
That's like administration said that when they
black people is not black women. Black women are not included in black people.
What's in it for me? What's about me? What's in it for me? Me. Mine, and mine, and me. What's in it for me?
No,
Come on,
it's
ladies.
but that's like, that's what you're saying. That's like when the president says minorities, then he's including black people. But we all know that that's not the case. Black women have specific needs that are not also being met. And we also feel that there should be some things that are specific to us and our plight as well.
Ice Cube stepped up and said, damn, I'm trying to do this for black people. Well, it ain't nothing in there for me. And Ice Cube was like, well, there is something in there for you. You black, ain't you? You're black, ain't you? Well, that ain't enough for me. I mean, I am black. Well, either you are or you aren't black. Either your interests are tied to the black community as a whole or they are not. And if they're not, step off. Holla at you. See you. Goodbye.
It is in this political environment that Green Gorilla offers solutions for how black men in particular can make our voices heard. Although his language may suggest radical action, radical can be an idea that's left to the observer. It could simply mean living a life that your father or your grandfather could not have foreseen for you. It may mean changing your dating patterns or even your spending patterns. It might mean choosing to uproot yourself and build a life in an area or a place where you feel more at ease and can exercise your agency as a man. However we choose, it is important to understand that there is more to all of this than just going to the ballot box every 2 or 4 years and saying that that is going to change our condition as individuals, as black men, or even as a black collective.
You know what scares me though, Craig? You know what scares me about black women? This might not be for all of them, but for some of them, I don't even think they care about the girls.
Well, again, they care more about power. So that's why it is important for as far as the whole gender dynamic, it is important for the men, for Harris to lose this election, because that will serendipitously push back feminism, at least black feminism, 52 to 60 years, because they've pushed all their chips to the center of the table. They're riding out with her. And even though she's not black, now it is, now that they countered that, they're saying, well, okay, but she's a woman.
They're even trying to defend her record. For prosecuting record.
Men will too. Because again, there are men that because they have made, they're making money off of black women. So it's like, all right, this, the black church is afraid, or the black church wants Trump to win because he's giving them the most money. So they don't care. They don't mind if Trump, people got to realize that black pastor in Detroit, Trump gave that church money. I mean, they got more money. So, when he was president, he didn't get a whole lot when Biden was president. So, but yeah, ultimately, it's like Green Gorilla said, they're not community oriented, because if they were to bring the butter business back to black men, the white men that are giving it to them are going to cut them off. And because black men are outside the system looking in, they don't need anything from the government. I mean, you can't name one government program that black men benefit from. There isn't none. I mean, the GI Bill, you got to be a GI, okay? You can, like I said, you can get a scholarship to the University of XYZ, but you better sack the quarterback 10 times. You better be able to catch 10 touchdown passes. You better be able to, be 6'7", 300 pounds and block, or 6'10" and can shoot the ball from half court. Yes, but that is a symbiotic relationship, because you're giving something to get something. Black women do not have to do anything, to get things. And Trump and Vance do threaten that. It makes us, I should say that threat's the wrong word. It makes them uneasy. And then when they see black men not showing up, and that's the proxy that they have on black men, you are going to show up. You are going to just be drones and vote the way we want you to, so that we can get the stuff we need to keep doing what we're doing. And the men aren't going to do it this time, at least at a lower number. That's all that has happened, So, and there's this, I see a lot of men making more of this than it is. And I feel bad for those men, because like I said before, okay, Trump wins, and then black women come back on pain of death. And they say, yep, everything black men have said is true. They sign a confession that everything they said is true. So what's the plan now? And that's black men. Yeah, that's where black men need to start heading because Trump's going to win the election. He's going to get 271. He'll get 270 at minimum. But I got him at 286, and that's that. The Democrats may be able to get the House back, maybe, because that's better now. That's what people got to realize. The down ballot stuff for Democrats got better with Harris. Harris is still losing in all these other states. So, and again, she'll shave off some of it, but not all of it. But it's really sad at this point to hear black men.
We still got a little bit more to go. So
yeah, go ahead, brother.
New black social critic basically has to manage this crisis. And I say it's only three ways. The first thing I have to do is point out the shortcomings with the market-based ideal of democracy. The second thing I have to do is I have to offer up an alternative. And the alternative to the market-based idea of democracy is called deliberative or participatory democracy. And I'm going to make the case that that's exactly what Ice Cube was doing. That's exactly what he was doing. And the last thing I need to do is I have to warn the black public. It shouldn't even rest comfortably with the promotion of participatory or deliberative democracy either. Because deliberation is but a phase of democracy. And as history is my guide, most instances in which you have a movement towards progress, especially for black people, is through insurgent actions, which are aesthetic and expressive in nature, and they are the catalyst no less than plans and reasons and talking for the creation of progress for black folk.
My response to Green Gorilla's call to action, if you will, is that it is time for black men to exercise black male agency. It could be either on the individual level or on smaller collective levels. But looking at the history of black men as it relates to our existence in the West, it's very difficult to say that the way we have been doing things is one that will be good for not only us, but our black sons and daughters in the long term, if we don't consider a change of action. And what might Green Gorilla's response to a call for black male agency be? He's going to tell you.
There are other people who say the exclusion of marginalized groups or oppressed groups is the crisis that confronts the integrity of the democratic process. Hence, you need inclusion, which is what you see a lot of feminists saying. Now, I also agree that marginalized groups should be included in the democratic deliberative process. But it just so happens that it seems to me the only motherfuckers left out of the goddamn system are black men. Black men need to be heard. Like Ron O'Neal said, black men need some black male independence. Black men need to be able to exhibit black male agency.
An ever-present part of the black male experience, especially for ADOS or FBA men, depending on who you choose to talk to, is an ever-present fear. Fear that if you act out of line, someone is going to come and get you. Fear that if you exercise agency for yourself first, you'll be seen as less than a man. Or even the fear that you'll never find someone that will see value in you, and thus your life is best served trying to serve others and using your service as your personal value over your identity and what you can bring to the table as a human being. The political game that black men have been playing is one where historically we have never won, and if we continue as we have been, we never will.
Agreed.
Eventually, there comes a time where thinking outside of the box is not only the best solution, but possibly the only good solution. And if thinking outside of the box is assimilating into other cultures, or relocation, or even a recreation of personal and political beliefs, what is apparent is that whatever it is that we choose when we think outside of the box, thinking outside of the box is the agency that just might save us.
Shout out to Passport OG. But yeah, black male, we have to start using black male agency. Now, you don't have to go vote for Trump. You can always go vote for third party depending on who got on the ballot. I know Jill Stein's the Green Party candidate. I don't know who's the Libertarian candidate. Do you know who the Libertarian candidate is, Craig?
It's not Kennedy, is it? Is he a libertarian?
No, it's not RFK. You can vote for RFK if you want to, although rumor has it that he's been talking to Trump.
Yeah, it's a nice rumor.
Well, allegedly they did talk on the phone. They did have a little conversation on the phone after that incident last week.
But, yeah, well, yeah.
Apparently, Trump's changed his opinion on the vaccines and stuff like that. But it's up to you. You know,
you
know. Go ahead. You don't have to
follow. I was just literally going to say that's what's happening now about the agency thing, but the agency threatens the butter biscuits of the women. But eventually, I keep on saying Trump. You need to plan for Trump winning. Then what is your plan? What is the quote unquote Black Manosphere's plan? Because after he wins, the Democratic Party is going to come to the Black community and ask them what the hell happened. And Black women are going to blame Black men. Fine. Then Black men need to say, we want these set of things specifically for Black men. And by serendipity, Black women will benefit. However, Black women, again, being self-absorbed and having an inferiority complex, they don't know that because they'll tell you, well, y'all niggas is dating now and y'all want this other different women and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, you know what then, Black girl, you're going to have to do some things to get the men to stay. Yes. To me, this is not, and again, that's why I like what Yvette Carnell said. She said, you can say to a Black woman that there's Black girl magic and Black girls rock, but that's not a policy. But it does placate Black women's inferiority complexes, which they do have. Like, it's massive. So when you have somebody walking around with a massive inferiority complex, who has an education because she can't depend on her beauty because she's not the beauty standard, and she shouldn't have never accepted the white beauty standard because the other groups of women did. They didn't. No other group of women on planet Earth accepted the white female beauty standard except Black women. And that is why they're the only group of women on planet Earth that act the way they do. They're the only ones that, if you go to Africa, they don't care about the beauty standard.
I'm talking about Tiffany Henry like that.
Well, I'm just saying that's what Joy Reid, that's what Joy Reid is saying when she said white adjacent. Yes, Black women keep hanging patriarchal duty on Black men. That means Black men need the power to execute the patriarchal duty. But what Joy Reid represents is, well, you all should just do that shit anyway and not worry about the power.
Right.
That's not going to work. That is not going to work. So, and that's what you're seeing in this election is the agency of the men saying, you want shit in the community fixed because you bitches ain't doing it, then we need the resources to fix the community. That's where you start. And that's where I hope the manosphere goes after the election. I'll be covering the election. I'll be up, knocking them back because I think Trump gets it the first night. I don't think you're going to need to go into Saturday and Sunday and stuff like that. I think they will be able to declare it. Yeah, I think they'll be able to declare it that night, or at least by noon Friday, or noon Wednesday. So if that happens, I'm going to say to everybody now, go ahead and celebrate. You've earned it. However, now the hard stuff begins.
Oh, Justin Lee, this is going to be a fight, gentlemen. Don't think this ain't going to be no fight.
Yeah, they're not going to go down without yelling and screaming and gaslighting. You just have to stay on course. And don't worry about what the women are doing and saying. Although I see people getting gaslit over different things, and just don't. If you're not going to vote for Kamala Harris, you don't owe anybody no explanation. Like you just said, AB, don't mean you're going to vote for Trump. This means you're not going to vote for her. There are Black men voting not for Trump. They're voting against a Black feminist. That's what they see Kamala Harris is, even though she's not Black. They're voting against feminism. But you're going to hear more men talk about that. Oh, I'm not voting for feminism.
Exactly.
But to say she's not qualified, that's where you're getting in. People are not you. But when you hear people saying, well, she's not qualified, that's not true. She's fine. She would be fine. but she's not going to get the opportunity. But, and I'll say this before I go, everybody will be able to clap their hands because Joe Biden will be able to say, well, I never lost to him. And if I stayed on the ticket, I would have won. That's what him and his family will say.
Most likely.
The Democratic apparatus will say, well, you know what? If she had more time, then she would have been able to possibly win. That's what they'll say as the Democratic Party. And the people who are going to take it in the shorts are going to be Black women because they're going to be off on a run. Like Dennis Spurley was saying, these women are now getting, unalive. They're getting arrested. They're arrested her up. And he said it 3 years ago. So shout out to him. But
thank you, HB, for the Cash App. But go continue.
Oh no, I'm just saying to Black men now, since we're about a little over 100 days left, you really need to start if it's going to be a canonization of Dr. Tiasan Johnson's plan, then you may have to just break that down to 10 things you definitely want, so that when the mainstream does come, and they're gonna be coming. Especially if
it is.
Better be able to say, if you want Black men to start voting for the Democratic Party, then here's going to be the top 10 things you're going to do. And if you fight us, if you argue with us, F you, we'll get ready for the election in 2026, and you won't win again. That'll be the congressional elections. And so my personal belief, AB, is what I told you, which is that I was told years ago that the Democratic Party is they're kicking Black people out of the party. It's just what happened was Black men just got up and packed their bags and left, and Black women stayed there. So they've set them up very nice for this to fall, and then they're going to take the blame for it. They will get blamed for it. Trust me. It's already set up, ready to go. And they won't know what hit them because they've never had to deal with a state having this coming at them, and they're not ready for something like that. But Black men need to get ready for what happened. And let me make this clear, like Captain America said in Age of Ultron, revel when Trump wins. Because it will be the end of Black feminism as you know it. But you got to mount up, like the regulators, mount up and say, here's the top 10 things we want from the Democratic Party. You do these 10 things, which means you put it on your platform. It's either this or nothing. And I personally believe the Democrats are going to say, well, it's going to be nothing. And that's my opinion.
Most likely they're going to say it's going to be nothing.
Yeah, you're going to get
I
nothing.
won't be surprised. A lot of people want to forget that the Democrats were the original pro-slavery party.
Yeah.
Democrats were the original pro-Ku Klux Klan party. The Democrats are the ones who played Birth of a Nation in the White House. The original Birth of a Nation that painted Black men as savages.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. You're right. And
a lot of people want to forget that history, but those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Correct. And they don't teach this anymore. Like they do not, like Gen Z, a lot of Gen Z don't know that. And so it's
actually I don't know if that tweet is still up, but Trump said that in a tweet one time. It was some real shit. He's like, it was some real shit. He said Black people have an interesting history, and if they don't learn from it, they will repeat it.
Yeah. No, I mean if he said that, whoever said that is Trump, he's right. You are
no, I saw it. He said it in a tweet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, if he did say that, yeah. If he said it on Twitter or
X or whatever they call it now, I know.
Yeah, so it's really, like I said before, when you hear Black men getting on panels complaining about about Black women as far as this election is concerned,
do what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
it's annoying, yet it hurts sometimes, but
yeah,
I guess it's the old nigga coming out. I'm past 40 now, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Okay, I see where you're coming from. Okay, at least now I know, not to go to you. Keep it moving.
Yeah, it's about, I'm all for, like, I don't have an issue if you vote for Kamala Harris. I'm just talking in general, or if you don't. Just make it about, I agree with Kevin McCarthy, and that's what I've been saying all week. Make it about the policy. But to sit up there and say that her getting into the race hasn't delivered the boxing version of a standing 8 count because they did not see it. Again, the Republicans have geared up to take on Joe Biden. They now have to recalculate how to take on Harris. And right now, they don't know how. They just don't. They don't know how to go at her because
I saw somebody talking about she's a DEI hire. I was like, okay,
that's not a policy. What Trump and Vance need to come out and say, okay, 2 years, here's what you'll have. In 4 years, medium, here's what you'll have. And in 8 to 10 years, here's what you'll have with our administration where we can start putting in, we put it in day one, stuff like that. Again, when Harris, when she says it's about the future, she's not wrong about that. Because look, like I said, when Bill Clinton won, what was his theme song? Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow by Fleetwood Mac. Again, the future, Barack Obama, hope, or we had hard times, but hope and change. Again, the future.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can, and we can all do it together. You're right. So, whoever is able to take that conversation, which is what she's doing, and she's very good at it. So, and so for people to say, well, she doesn't have a chance, that's not fair to her. Yeah, but it's unlikely based on
also. Trump might screw it up. It is what it is.
Oh yeah, it's always possible. To me, unless there's an October surprise, and I'm not here to say that she won't close it a little bit because she will pick a VP. They will have some momentum, just like Trump and Vance had momentum come out of their thing. So, just people need to kind of. I really hope going over the next 100 days, you don't hear specifically men just getting gaslit by a Joy Reid and all that. Because again, Trump and Vance are a threat, are an imminent, an overt threat to what she wants as a feminist. And as long as you understand that, you won't get gaslit by her.
Right.
So, but if you don't understand that, you will be gaslit by her. And that's where you're going to end up, just in the mud, not talking about the policies. Like, what's Kamala Harris's policy on tax cuts? What is that? I mean, again, people have a right to know who are going to be voting in this election. So now she may not come out and say, I'm going to say this, AB, then jump off. She's not going to say anything, I don't think, until she gets her VP. So in the next week and a half, I think.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah. But that's all I had for you, man. I'll talk to you later. I'm sure I'll talk to you again this weekend.
All right. Thanks for coming up, Craig.
Yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to the chat. And you all have a good Thursday night.
Enjoy your week.
What's going on, Namer?
I'm all right. Just been chilling. Just dealing with.
Charles still going?
No, Charles. I got off here. I said I was going to meet everybody up over here. I'm sure Charles will be back though. But
okay.
We promised we would come here and show you some support, some support and everything. So I'm late.
Yeah, but it's been going fine. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Crime fans don't.
Well, this too. Bald head Reed.
She's not even Ados. She's Congolese and Guyanese. Her maiden name is actually Lumena.
Yeah, I did this little meme because they keep coming out with, I'm with her. I'm not with her. Get over it.
I'm not gonna do something for Kamala. No. Just like she wasn't gonna do anything for black people. No.
You should claim that I ain't doing nothing for Kamala. No.
That's what I said earlier on Charles's hangout. I'm not voting. I'm not voting for Kamala. No. I'm not doing something just for Kamala. Solely for Kamala. No.
Oh, I played this. Let me pull that video back up. Give me just a second. I played something earlier that about something she did. Remember how I told you about build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails.
What the fuck is she talking about? That's all that is lip service, man.
This is what I was talking about. Let me let's see, present.
We all have these posters in our closet that is attached to a stick that we sometimes will cart out when we're talking about criminal justice policy, and we run around with these signs, build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere, build more schools, we protest, build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. And it's this. I agree with that conceptually, but you have not addressed the reason I have 3 padlocks on my front door. So part of the discussion about reform of criminal justice policy has to be an acknowledgement that crime does occur, and especially when it is violent crime and serious crime, well, there should be a broad consensus that there should be serious and severe and swift consequences.
Build more schools, less jail.
Less jails. And we walk around everywhere. Build more schools. We protest. Build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. And it's this. I agree with that conceptually, but you have not addressed the reason I have 3 padlocks on my front door.
That's why I called her Kamala School to Prison Harris. Any questions?
First of all, does she actually have 3 padlocks on her door? Does she live actually in an area? Doesn't she live like in a more upscale area? Her and her husband?
I have no idea.
Her and her white husband?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure they live up an upper middle class. At least they're upper middle class.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, good and well. They don't, she doesn't have to deal with that kind of shit. She always has security with her all times because she was a prosecutor. You don't think prosecutors need protection? You know, the funny thing is, political violence and shit, you know. I remember somebody brought this up about the assassination of Trump. You know, Trump, the attempted assassination of Trump. They mentioned like both sides condemn what happened to him, but at the flip side, nobody condemns what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband. When a man broke into her home when she was an assault.
I knew that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. Nobody from the Republican side condemned that, if you might remember, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't necessarily remember. Jesse, type something in the chat for me, please. If you're still there. Jesse? Oh, excuse me, Jesse? Jesse?
Jesse? Well, in my case, it's safe. It's safe. That's how we say Jesse in my mother's side. It's safe.
Oh, really?
Somebody, yeah.
Jesse?
Jesse?
That's how we say it in the South. Jesse?
Well, some people, except Martin Lawrence, he did when he was doing impressions of MLK. MLK talking to Jesse Jackson. Jesse, stop messing with them hoes, Jesse. Jesse, help me out here, Jesse. Hit me in the head with the rock, Jesse.
Good old Jesse Jackson.
Jesse, you know that ain't not a word. Comedian Fetty Carpenter once said this about as we did impression of MLK, calling out Jesse Jackson was bullshit. Said, Jesse, when I'm gone, I don't want the world to know that I won the Nobel Peace Prize. That's not what I wanted to know. Unlike you, Jesse, I want to know that Dr. Martin Luther King never, ever, ever, never, ever, never, ever, ever wore jerry curls. He was long dead before there was ever jerry curls. Shit.
Yeah, 68. When did jerry curls come out?
Early 80s? Late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, unfortunately.
A lot of people stopped doing then, like after what happened to MJ, you know, a lot of people stopped fucking with, you know.
Oh, there's another video of Kamala going around of what she thinks. She called 18 to 25-year-olds stupid.
Well, that's considered kind of nice. That's an improvement compared to what Hillary Clinton called y'all. Then again, she said it to everybody, even below the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
That term, super predator.
Oh yeah, super
Wow.
predator.
Yeah, they never forgave her for that one.
Basket of deplorables.
That would be the Trumpers, but when I look at it, it's just like, what else?
Oh, I managed to find something. Give me a second. Let me queue up. I found something interesting. I found a video I've been looking for a while now. It's a video of how can I say this? Of some buck dancing. This is back during the 2016 campaign.
That is it for us. I do gotta ask you, do you know how to wobble?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know how to wobble?
I don't.
You know how to wobble? You just lost the black vote right there. Karen, the black folks on your staff need to teach you how to do the wobble. Trust me.
Can you show me how you do it?
Oh, I can show you how to do it. You gonna pick up some votes, trust me.
But I gotta see it in order to know it.
You need some music. I don't really the music, but I'm just saying.
Okay, who can show me? Come on, don't be shy.
I told y'all Black Network we do a little bit different.
Well, you raised it. Now don't leave me hanging out
you
here.
Want to put my iPod on? I got music.
Maybe.
Plug this up right now. Y'all know I'll put it on now. Secretary Clinton.
Porky pig, motherfucker.
Very much. Claflin thanks you as well. Round of applause, please. Democratic presidential candidate.
Thank you, Roland.
Secretary Hillary Clinton.
Here you go. Buck dance.
That's how I told y'all need the music.
Who the fuck wants to see the Afro-Caribbean Porky Pig dancing, chucking and jiving? Bucket.
What up?
Yo, what up, AB?
You came in just in time, Shattered, man. You seen this nonsense here from back in 2016?
I'm looking at I'm looking at Roland. He's almost shorter than Hillary.
Wait, how short is Hillary? She's like what, 5'4"?
Don't let the ass Scott fool you.
Blackmails.
Oh, sorry. Because I got it all on the playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Roland.
All right.
He's getting a lot of good money right now for me.
Fair use.
That's how I told y'all.
He tap dancing over there. Man, I didn't see this one here, man.
Oh yeah, this is back in 2016. That's why I'm not gonna lie to you. I get triggered whenever I see him with that shirt. Your ancestors died, nigga. My ancestors didn't die for you to buck dance for Hillary Clinton.
Did she pull out the hot sauce on this one too?
I don't think so, but
well, she didn't have to. She had Roland Martin over there tap dancing, so that was better than the hot sauce at the Breakfast Club.
Unfortunately.
By the way, if you could just like rewind a little bit, because I want to look at the banner in the background.
Okay, just a second. Which one is it?
The one in blue and with the white letters with her website on the bottom.
Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, here it is. Okay.
I don't need the music. Don't.
Yeah. What does that say? The banner that said "Fighting for Us."
That's how I told y'all need the music.
Oh, that's Hillary Clinton's website.
Yeah.
Don't let
But
the
like
ass
what it
got
says,
fool you.
but look what it says. Look what it says. It said fighting for us. Who the fuck is us?
So that often says, so who is us in that scenario fighting for us? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's a better look. Fighting for us.
Who is she? Who are they talking about fighting for us? Who is us?
I don't know, the deep state. I'm just saying.
Nobody needs to see this shit stop.
That's how I told y'all need the music. Don't let the ass got fool you.
Blackmail's involvement in
never.
Now, I seen I remember back in the days, right, where you had Sammy Davis Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy Davis, man, and I know they had a whole bunch of stuff out on my boy back in the day saying that he was, tap dancing for the white folks and, Frank Sinatra and the Scat Pack or whatever. But one thing about Sammy, Rat Pack, yeah. But one thing about Sammy, although he was a dancer, Sammy was basically like a comedian, and he spoke a lot about the black plight in America, although it was very unpopular to speak then about that. But he could tap dance in Vegas 1,000,000 times and still not do the damage that I see that roly-poly up here doing with this tap dance crap that he doing. It's just so obvious. I seen Van Jones, they coming out with these the same kind of dudes. Now, Van Jones, we've just had ad nauseum brothers saying, man, why is he up here crying? He comes up there yesterday, he says, we have 50,000 brothers that
20,000.
20,000 brothers that was on a call, and I heard 1,000 times that we was gonna protect black women. First of all, I find that to be highly suspect because Van Jones has not contacted. I don't see not one black man that has got up on any panel or any news and said, well, we was on the phone with Van Jones and who was he talking to? He never says any names. He just makes this stuff up.
It's called lying. It's called telling a tall tale.
Crying Jones.
Well, it's called crying and lying. I'm just saying.
He crying like Bernie Mac's nephews. Quit crying, do some push-ups or something.
Well,
hey,
at
Louis,
least
Jordan,
at least Jordan got some nuts on it, man. He started playing football to get him a girlfriend. At least he stopped crying. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he lost it. Yeah, but if you remember that episode of the Bernie Mac show when he was playing football, remember when he was trying to block a field goal? The ball hit him right where the sun don't shine. His pebbles were messed up for a while.
Yeah,
they didn't drop, but it was messed up.
But after that, he was torpedo. He was killing them little dudes out there.
No, when he was the torpedo, when he was known as a torpedo in that last game, he blocks the game. He blocks that field goal kick, right? But the ball hit him right where the sun don't shine, and he's there on the ground, like, my pebbles, Uncle Bernie, my pebbles.
Yeah, but he sacrificed something to get the game won, and Bernie told him, we don't accept participation trophies in the Mac household. If you want to get on the Bernie Mac Hall of Fame, you got to go out there and put yourself on the line.
And remember the trophy he got in the shape of a protective cup.
Right, brass cup.
It was just like Kevin Costner in the movie Tin Cup. And Rene Russo's asking one of the women, how did he get the nickname Tin Cup? Oh, in Little League. In high school, he was a catcher. He got hit in the nuts with a baseball, but from a pitch, right? Without a protective cup. So that's why it's called Tin Cup. So
Tin Cup. I got Louis up here. Louis, right. What do you think of Van Jones talking about? He got 20,000 black men on the line saying that we're going to protect. Come on.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Put you up. We're going to protect. Come on. Just saying.
Man, fuck all of them.
Right.
Like, look, vote for your fucking interests. I'm a mercenary when it comes to fucking voting.
I am too.
Yeah, agreed, brother. Agreed. That's why it's a vote, right? It's currency. You know what I mean? It's currency. You don't have to put your currency. If a shop is racist, or if they're not to show your interest, there's another place down the street that'll take your money and treat you better.
Yeah, I just played the video earlier. I might put it back up, but our ancestors didn't die for Roland Martin to buck dance for Hillary Clinton. I'm just saying.
Not at all.
They always like to bring up, your ancestors died. But our ancestors died to.
They talk about the racist thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What president wasn't fucking racist?
Well, I'll do you one better, Lewis. Our ancestors died for us to blindly vote for the original pro-slavery party. Our ancestors died for the people who probably had Dr. King shot. Oops, I say that out loud. Our ancestors died for the party that played Birth of a Nation in the White House. Okay.
Look, for the most part, Republicans are racist and Democrats are racist. It's the devil you know and the devil you don't know.
Pretty much.
Like, I'd rather you just say you don't like me in front of my face. And for the most part, that's what Republicans do. They go by with the thing of responsibility. All right, I can deal with that. But don't patronize me and you pretend that you my fucking ally.
Right.
And then you pass fucking laws and policies that's against my interests. So.
Or you bring in migrants to take my resources. Oops.
Oh yeah. So you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna put it like this. Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
What I was trying to say is like me coming up in the South and then coming up in the North. Once I actually learned how racism operated and stuff like that, I saw racism from 2 points, right? So I saw the racism from Mississippi, right, which is pretty overt and mostly Republican based because that's who was running at the time. And I would see it, and it was pretty open. It was pretty much open, And then people say, "Well, up north, is less racism." So I would go up north.
Bullshit.
Here's the difference. What I noticed, I was like, "Oh, up north, the racism is still pervasive, but they just wait till you leave out of the room to call you a nigga." Right?
Yeah.
So I felt like that was worse. I felt that was worse because at least I knew where the Confederate flags waivers down south. At least I knew where they stood, and they didn't try to pander to me like you were saying earlier. Like they try to pander to you, At least I knew where they stood because all of them are racist, right? But at least we knew where the ones that's openly out there with their racism. We know where they stood. The problem comes in is with the tap dancing of our brothers. They figured out that we could get paid. We could pay these other brothers, and we don't have to sway the entire electorate. We just got to sway this guy right here.
Well, you know who are the most dangerous people I see right now? Is our own kind that denies that racism fucking exists. It's no longer here. Like, do any of y'all listen to the Cows?
Which one?
The Cows, Gus C. Renegade. The context of white supremacy. He was big for a long time on Blog Talk Radio. He has his own site now, but a lot of people be putting his stuff up on YouTube. It's called The Cows, the context of white supremacy. Well,
okay.
Anyway, I started playing this for it's this at my job, this Christian brother I talk to all the time. We be politicking. I played one of the episodes for him, and he asked me, "Why do you listen to that?" I'm like, "Huh?" Because it's fucking informative. That's why. That stuff, it would damage your brain. How? Because you start believing everything is racist. He's like, everything is racist. I'm like, we live in America.
Exactly.
We're here with a dominant society. I understand that racism, it exists, but it's not in everything. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's the whole system. it's something that Gus C. Renegade said, and he's a disciple of Dr. Nellie Fuller, and he said racism, if you don't understand how it works, everything else will just confuse you. And I try to explain it to him, and it's like the switch flipped him. He just came all combative, like, you know what? You're a lost cause, and you're a dangerous motherfucker. I have to avoid you now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of brothers that's like that. And I try in my mind, like, okay, maybe they just have been sheltered. Maybe they have not seen racism. But even when you see blatant racism, I'll give an example of Butter Biscuits Tatum. Okay. So Mr. Tatum, okay, although he was a civil servant, and he should be the black, right? He's the civil servant, black cop that has been through different things. He should be able to tell you, hey, yeah, I've seen guys in this department who were racist against me, because I'm sure that they were, you know, especially Arizona where he served. You would think. But then when you get things like the Massey girl, just for example, you know, this is not a new thing with him. But then they would say, well, racism doesn't exist. And these cops, you know, she had a pot of boiling water. And that obviously is enough to shoot a person on their knees in the head. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, how much money? They couldn't pay me enough money to say. When I saw that video, brother.
Well, yesterday, Tatum came out with another video and retracted what he said. He better it was wrong. Yeah, but honestly, I think it's a high level with Tatum. He's straight up grifting to a certain audience to make money.
A lot of them do that, man. I've seen the same thing with Black Conservative Perspective, and I like
ABL.
And ABL. Who else, man? It's a couple other dudes, man, out there. But
Tree of Knowledge. You familiar with her?
I haven't seen.
Chocolate Sister with long dreads. She's always interviewing people. She had interviewed fucking
She sounds familiar though.
She got glasses, real like in shape. She interviewed Jared Taylor and all these people and shit. So and Richard Spencer. She had a run-in with her, but she's like hardcore conservative, Second Amendment, you know, white Jesus, Bible, something, you know.
Right.
A lot of them do that, man. And I see Tatum do that all the time. And I remember when they gave him his affiliate show, and he's on the radio now on the affiliate shows. And I see him do that same exact thing, brother, where it's the grift is so large with them that it's like, if you do see something where it's obviously that these cops, white, black, or otherwise, have done something illegal, you should not have to come back and clean up your statements. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to come back. You see, you're a cop. You see, if we had Charles up here and we ran that video, Charles would say, obviously, the man was in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? He's in the wrong. And just in the terms of close quarters combat, if you see this woman don't have a weapon, then she's what, 5'4", 5'5", a big old pot of water. How far could she possibly throw the water? All you'd have to do, you got your gun drawn, step back out of the range, the effective range of what she has. Step back. You could have tased her. You could have maced her. I mean, if that was the case.
Or step back, let her throw the water, then after she threw the water, rush her ass.
Yeah, like one shot of water.
And I hate to quote this person, but a broken watch is right twice a day. Dr. Rashad Ritchie. And one of the very few things I agree with him with a lot of times with policing, it's the culture. It's the training where you're not allowed to be in any type of danger. It's like me saying, I want to be a firefighter, but I don't want to get burned.
Mhm.
Being a cop, the nature of the job is inherently.
We have some breaking news. Donald Trump is
you're put in danger. You're working in dangerous situations, and it's because of the nature of the job. There's a high chance you're going to be in a dangerous situation. So I mean, and depending on the
Yeah,
municipality.
let me play this real quick.
All right.
Yeah,
This guy, man, I cannot stand this dude here, man.
yeah. This little boy here.
officially backing out of the presidential debates with Vice President Kamala Harris. This guy is terrified of debating her. His campaign just put out this statement
Now
saying, quote,
listen very carefully.
Given the continued political chaos surrounding Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, the general election debate details cannot be finalized until Democrats formally decide on their nominee.
What's the problem with that? What's the issue? The convention's next month. What's the issue?
My thing was,
it's Kamala Harris. There is a strong sense by many in the Democratic Party that Kamala Harris is a fraud who can't beat Trump, and they are still holding out for someone better. Therefore, it would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats could very well still change their minds. He is terrified. He's running away in real time. Donald Trump does not want to get on the debate stage with her because he knows that Kamala Harris would wipe the floor with him. But what happened, Donald? He frames himself as such a strong guy. He rants on social media about Kamala Harris, but now he's backing out. He doesn't want to commit to a date. What's wrong, Donald? I'm pretty confident that Donald Trump will never debate Vice President Kamala Harris because he knows it would go terribly for him. That's why he's doing stuff like this.
And this dude right here, I'm gonna give you two things that's so wrong with him, because I can see that he drinks the soy milk, and I've seen him at the White House. I think he was at the CNN. He's been inducted. His TikTok is crazy, and if he was an honest person, okay, if you go back just maybe 30 to 60 days when people were saying, hey, Joe Biden seems like he's not all there. He sat there and said, no, he is the best of the Democratic Party. He's going to run. They changed it overnight and put Kamala in. If you're a Democratic guy, you're supposed to be a Democratic operative. You're supposed to be Democratic. So open it up. Let somebody else. Let RFK actually get in there. Look at what they did to Bernie. If you need any other example of what they don't want, is competition. They don't want no.
Hold on, wait. Let me show this video of President Obama pushing this little boy out of the way, and is on his own TikTok. And this is one of his pinned TikToks too.
Is getting ready to help get out the vote.
Harry, why don't you let me handle this one?
You got it.
So I'm about to go out to campaign because the state couldn't be higher in this election. We've got climate change on the ballot. We've got gun safety on the ballot. And if we elect more members of Congress who are pro-choice, we can actually reinstitute Roe versus Wade as the law of the land. But it's only going to happen if all of you do your part and get out there and vote. Harry?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I couldn't have said it better myself. Make sure to visit iwillvote.com today. The link is on my bio.
Okay, that's enough of the little boy.
Yeah, well, that tells you
with the debate thing, I think the two-party system still has nightmares from the Ross Perot experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Perot.
Yeah. He's the reason why Bill Clinton got in office. So, I mean.
Yeah, it was Bob Dole, Perot, and Clinton, right?
No,
George Bush.
George
Bill Clinton, and Ross Perot.
Okay, so where was Dole? Didn't Dole run at one point in time?
Dole ran in was it 96?
Okay,
not 96. Yeah, 96. That's right, 96.
Yeah.
So they were saying that Perot took the votes that they needed to win, basically, right?
Yeah, the Republicans. Yeah, took it from the Republicans. That's how Bill Clinton got elected.
Yeah.
What was the other guy?
What
Green
Ross Perot
Party.
was, because you remember what Ross Perot was doing? He was doing those hour-long infomercials, and he was telling America his plan, what he wanted for America, and a lot of voters got on the Ross Perot train, and and he got a lot of votes, but it wasn't enough to get a state, but nationwide, it took a lot of votes from George Bush, and that's how Bill Clinton got elected.
Yeah. Who was the guy that ran in 2000? Did they
Ralph
blame
Nader?
for? Yeah, Ralph Nader. They blame for Al Gore. He's the reason Al Gore lost.
Yeah, wasn't Nader part of the Green Party?
Yeah, the Green Party. That's his party. He started it.
What happened? Let me ask that, because now we got this Green New Deal, the AOC and the rest of them is touting about this this climate change thing, and that's another thing, because they just say they run on climate change. What I would ask is, because it seems so funny that this climate change thing is such a big deal. First it was global warming, now it's climate change. So now it's we say.
Well, all that's from Bill Clinton's VP. What's his name? Al Gore. That's Al Gore's stuff.
So what about Nader? So what happened to the Green Party? If you got the Green New Deal, and Nader was supposed to.
The Green Party and the Green New Deal is totally two different things.
Yeah.
Ralph Nader was what's that? I'm looking the proper term that Ralph Nader was, where not a whistleblower, but with corporations and all that and stuff. He was an advocate for the workers and everything. So.
I can't think of the name right now, but yeah.
Well, was he like a union guy or what?
Something like a union. I forgot the term that like not a whistleblower, but like it was like a hold on, let me look it up, because I don't want to waste their time. Go ahead.
My question is this, okay, for the climate change agenda, right? Because I see that they're running that out. For an average person that drives their gas-powered car to work every day, or drives their diesel truck to deliver their goods, or pays the money for their light bill and their gas bill for their home, what is it that we are the problem with the climate change? Because you haven't given us some free energy generation deal to where we can all say, hey, yeah, we're going to go ahead and adopt this. The people that are, allegedly making the environment worse, and I've got my idea on a couple of them. They never, they get a lot of money from the government, and what does the average human, besides pouring oil into your drain, what do you have to do with climate change? I mean, it's not your fault.
He was a lawyer and a consumer advocate.
Consumer advocate, okay.
Yeah.
Well, consumer advocate would be a good idea on some of these things, because a lot of the stuff that the bank does, it's predatory. These fees, the interest rates, the not wanting to loan money to minorities in the same way that they loan to other people. I can understand that, but do we ever get anything tangible? No. A lot of times they get up there and their base is abortion, Roe versus Wade, abort. Why is it that it's so important? And we keep talking about black, and we're like, well, we need more voters. We don't say nothing about the 30 million voters that have been necessarily deleted at Planned Parenthood. We say nothing about this. Matter of fact, they want us to do more.
Yep. Yeah, it is what it is.
In Africa, do they have big abortion lobbies in Africa?
Not to my knowledge.
And they shouldn't, because in Africa, they have a lot of different countries, different cultures, different tribal associations, and we need more men. So, you know, to fight these wars, to hold down our borders, if we were to, let's just say, eliminate, you know, 25% of our potential population every year, wouldn't that cause a problem?
Does anybody remember what happened to the Spartans? What led to their ultimate demise?
No. What happened besides the guy that told on them and messed them up?
No, that was the Battle of Thermopylae you're talking about. I'm talking about decades later, in fact, a couple centuries afterwards.
No. What happened?
Well, if you looked at their population, first of all, you had three groups. There were three classes of people. The Spartans were at the top, and they were a minority. And they were basically it was a feudal society.
Yeah.
You had the Spartans at the top, and they were the warrior class as well as the administrative class. Below them was a group, I forgot their names. There were these slaves who were mostly used for arts and crafts and such like that, you know.
Is that the artisans or the proletariat or something?
Something like a proletarian. And then after below the proletarians were a group called the helots. The helots, those were the slaves involved in who were mostly doing the manual labor, you know, tilling the ground, doing the agricultural work. And they were the vast majority of Spartan society. Eventually what would happen is the Agoge, which was the school that the Spartans would put their kids through. Fewer and fewer kids were coming out of that. Why? Because, you know, what did they do to a Spartan baby boy? They always, when a baby boy was born, they would take him to a cliff and inspect him through torchlight to see if there was anything unusual about him, something ununique. Something, if any blemish or any deformity they saw, they would throw him over the cliff. He would die of the exposure.
So the reason that they did it because was that the Spartan class that did that, or was that
the Spartan class. Because only the strongest could survive it. But the problem was boys would die through the first several years of the Agoge, the military training school, from ages 7 till 17. And eventually, you know, through this whole process, they ended up developing like a population bottleneck. Because fewer and fewer kids, because, you know, so many of them were, you know, dying that, you know, eventually it caught up to them. You know what I'm saying? The whole process eventually caught up to them. They're like, their population became the warrior class was so small that they lost it. They were just defeated by thieves and whatnot.
Well, if you think about it, like the genetics, right? So let's say you had 4 sons and 3 of them was, you know, they didn't throw them over the cliff. And that one, he was the last one, he was the runt, or he, you know, he had some eczema on his arm. We're gonna throw him over the cliff. Right. But then you thinning out your genetic soldiers, because if the Spartans are the best of the warrior class, you still need all those men. You need them.
But there was fewer and fewer children born as a result, because each generation the number of boys available was reducing, was becoming smaller and smaller. So eventually it came to a point like, you know, their society almost pretty much collapsed. They were not having enough children at the time.
Well, is that not what we have now here?
Yeah.
Where you have openly women of our culture that's saying we need to abort black babies, black men babies, boys, and we'll make, you know, more women because that's, you know, what we need, you know. But you know, when you got to go fight the wars, and it's funny that you said that about the Spartans, because the Spartans were the one who were the elite. They weren't the conscripts. They were the elite fighters that could take down conscript armies with smaller amounts of meat.
Yeah, because most Greeks, they were part-time soldiers. Spartans, they were full-time warriors. They were so good. In fact, they were constantly training. But the thing is also, let's not forget, there was a lot of same-sex loving going on in the Greek world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing was, but that didn't really destroy them. The thing was, they weren't having enough children constantly. They were not having enough children because the men were constantly going off to battle. And usually they either came back with their shields or they came back on their shields. Every year there was they were campaigning against other sides.
So the ranks were getting depleted, but you didn't have the manpower being replenished.
Yeah, casualties were so much that you didn't have enough to replenish, and even not in sufficient numbers.
Well, and you see what they have now. And another thing is about, I hate to even say it, the Fathom state, I would say that. The Fathom state, okay, has basically said that we're going to continue to lie and we're going to ramp the lying up. I mean, I know it's some voters that just came into being, that's where, you got the 18 through 24s that's coming up that's just trying to vote. But now go back and look when we had the border situation and we had that immediately as he was signing the executive orders, undoing stuff that Trump had did that was actually good for the country. As he undid it, right? He said, well, we're going to make my vice president the border czar. Said it.
Yep, he did.
He said it. Now they got a whole new thing where they say they never said that she was a border czar at all. And I'm like, what? And then they got
bullshit.
She was basically the fall woman. When things went, she was set up to be the fall chick. That's all it was. Not
of
the
course,
fall guy, the fall girl.
Of course.
And then they want to revise history and say, no, we didn't call her that. We didn't call her that.
Yeah, and her hands was tied, even if she said that she wanted to go down there and do something about it, which was against their policy, because we can see now what that has created.
She's in no position. She was in no position anyway.
Right. So why even give her that position if you knew you was gonna stab it in the back of the end? So they didn't ever expect to give her. They wanted to roll Biden all the way out. He was sick, man. They wanted to roll him out. They did not expect to have to put her in, because that's why they didn't do the DNC. That's why they didn't do the nomination for anybody else, because
he was too sick to run.
Yeah.
Well, they say he got COVID, but the thing is, let's not forget, the man is 81. He'll be 82 in November. The man's faculties are questionable. They've been declining for years. The past 16, he's been like this for 20 some years. He was rambling long before, he was nominated as Obama's vice president. Well, nobody was catching on.
And that kept Obama from getting MLK'd, because they were so they knew that he was so inept that they was like, oh no, we can't do that to him, because if we got rid of Obama, he comes in and then it's a problem. So after they extended the amount of time that Obama could run, they would have ran Obama 12 years if they could have.
But remember, it was because of FDR. They amended they made it 2 terms only. 2 terms.
Yeah, FDR won 4 times.
4 consecutive.
But
he died after what I want to say was it was after sometime after his 4th election win, he would die in office, and Harry Truman, his then vice president, would succeed him. In fact, it was Harry Truman who decided that, to drop the bomb.
I didn't know that. I thought that because we were at war that there was something in the Constitution when we're at a, war, national security thing that they couldn't just, do the election or whatever. If a wartime president, he had to stay in. I thought it was like that. You saying that they actually changed it during FDR so that they couldn't do it.
Yeah, after his fourth election win. Because remember, it was in the midst of his it was in the midst of his the war started like somewhere between his second and third term. And then after he won his fourth term, he would die in office and Truman would take over. Then they amended the Constitution to limit it to 2. Like if Trump wins this, say if Trump, hold on. Like they say theoretically, if Trump wins this election, he cannot compete. He cannot participate in the next election afterwards.
Right.
Because
he's done 2 terms, just like Grover Cleveland, 2 terms.
But see, my ask on that question right there is this. Okay, now remember when 9/11 happened, and we remember when they made Patriot Act 1, Patriot Act 2, and there was a couple other ones, I can't remember the name, but they had language in there that said that basically if there was a serious war, serious T attack, I'll say T attack during the times of maybe right around the election, that they could suspend elections until the time that we say, okay, everything's clear. So they still have that, that little piece in the trick bag. Do I think they would do it? No, I think they're looking at the and Trump, and for Trump, I think that the debate, since the debate has become a big thing now, because most people back in the days didn't watch debates. Now we got the debate, so they're saying, well, he's scared to debate Kamala. Man, Kamala can read a lot better than Joe. She's, she can stand up for an extended period of time. Yeah, she'd be able to say some things. But the only thing I see in that debate that would actually be something where she could actually challenge Trump on is race. She's going to run the race card straight up on that.
And Trump doesn't answer questions. Remember, he's just going to babble. He's going to engage in circuit. Let's not kid ourselves here. Like I said about Trump being a narcissist and everything, he has no self-awareness. First of all, he's gonna say anything and everything he needs to do just to get what he needs, because he's focused on a basis. He's acting from moment to moment, basically.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Kamala, the only thing he can do to get Kamala, the only thing he can do is to rattle Kamala, insult her, attack her, make it personal, get dirty, try to rile her up.
He can't. And you see the restraint that he pulled on Biden. He can't. He knows this now. He cannot do that, especially to her. Now to Biden, yeah, but then you got the old folks and this and that. He had to tamp down. So if he does do the debate with her, he cannot attack her. He cannot attack her.
He could get the impulse to do so, because one of his issues is he is impulsive. And the older you are, the less, because old men, you know how old folks are when it comes to impulsivity. Sometimes they'll just blur shit out and not care. And he doesn't care. He just blurs whatever. And sometimes all she's got to do is just shut up and give him all the rope to hang himself with.
I agree. But my thing is, the original Trump, he was straight up like that. But I think he has learned a little bit from doing these debates and seeing how the media takes his words and straight up destroy it. I think he's learned that attacking the person directly on personal attacks does not brief well on the end of the exit poll. So he cannot, and especially with her, he cannot go there with her. The only thing that Trump will be able to do, and if he's smart,
a prosecutor. She's a prosecutor. Let's not forget that.
Right.
He hates prosecutors. He's attacked judges, prosecutors.
Think about what she said. Now she's AKA, but
just a minute, brother. I got 24 watching. Like, share, subscribe to the video. Hit the Cash App, support the show. Hit the Super Chat. support the show. Thank you.
As you were saying, Shattered?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man, support the show. You know what I'm saying? You know, who else is giving you these, you know what I'm saying, actual real deal, you know, I mean, I see a lot of people out here, man, and that's why I say, thinking about Kamala, when I seen that when she was doing her AKA, you know, Virtue Signal tour, she said, well, you know, people, you know, I'm trying to do her voice. People, you know, well, you know, they're young. And you know, what do we do with young people? You know, they're stupid. They're 18 to 24, and we just put them in a dormitory. Yes. We put them in the dumb people. The people you want to vote for you now, you calling them dumb.
They're young. They're impression. I would say I would not insult. First of all, you just alienated the youth vote that way. Now, if you were to say these are young, impressionable people, and you know we gotta be honest with them and set the record straight with them, they'll vibe to you. They're like, you know what, I could agree with that because at least this person's talking to me like I'm a human being. If I talk to an 18-year-old and say, listen, and if I'm straight, I don't call them stupid. I said, look, man, you're 18, you're young, you think you figured it out, but no, man, this is the next. You just got to point A. There's a whole lot you gotta learn, son. My father was like that with me when I was 18. He didn't look at me like I was stupid. He just said, boy. No, actually, he wouldn't ever call me boy. He looked at me and said, son, you still got a lot to learn. You're young, you got a lot to learn. I remember, you know, but then again, I come from a different culture, excuse me, but it doesn't make what I'm saying less relevant, does it?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. When they announced Kamala, you know, was taking the nomination, I saw a bunch of, I'm with her. I'm not with her. Get over it.
Yo, here's my question regarding all of this. This is a valid question. On the RNC side, what if Trump, for some reason, kicks the bucket? If he were to kick the bucket, excuse me, if he were to kick the bucket, JD Vance would end up becoming the nominee. So will we see a JD Vance versus Vice President Harris, Senator Vance?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
And he is what and you know, his stance being what it is. He's ambitious. He's kind of like Pence, not that ambitious, but he has his own ambition.
He's sharp.
He was an anti-Trumper. Remember now, he was an anti. Okay, and then you got Nikki Haley. See now, and I'm gonna go. Let me put my conspiracy 10 hat on. Okay.
Make sure make sure. Hey, and best believe Shatter's got some of the flyest tinfoil hats out there, man. He be rocking them dope, man. Especially with the do-rags and shit. They're looking sharp, man.
Hey, look, so let me disavow all this stuff right now, right? So, you know, we'll do a conspiracy theory hat on. So if the Fathom State had gotten their wish and, you know, JFK, my man, out there, all right, if the RNC would have looked a lot different. It's funny you said RNC. I'm glad you brought that up, brother, because JD Vance would not have been nominated, number one. Okay, he wouldn't have been nominated. And number two, Nikki Haley was the only person that still had delegates. And the thing is, everybody was wondering, why is she still running against him, even though she has no hope to win? Well, there was a plan to be able to say, well, hey, you know, she's got the delegates. They would have had the neocons. She's full with war in her mind.
Yeah.
She would have been the nominee. They would have had to nominate her. And you just look at Lindsey Graham and the rest of them up there once Trump had said what he's doing, their faces was like, because they don't like him. No one in the Republican Party, the only reason they be rocking with him because he got votes. That's currency. That's the only reason.
He's a means to an end, yeah.
They hate him. They hate him more. If anything, you know, people say it's a setup. Well, yeah, I say it was a setup, but it ain't a setup in the way that you might think. You know, in order to get these things in motion, you have to have a bipartisan setup. There is people in his party that was also hoping that he did not come out of that rally unscathed. You know, they was there. They wanted that. You know what I'm saying? So now what I'm thinking is, and I will ask y'all this question: because they say that she's made a statement saying that within 2 weeks she's going to nominate her VP. So who do you guys think that they would nominate?
Got me stumped on that one because there are people. Well, let's get a couple of things straight. First of all, regarding the RNC, first of all, he was not going to forgive Nikki Haley.
I hope not.
As nutty as she is, hell no. No. Unless you want to make sure nobody tried to assassinate her or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is like, with the RNC, Trump would never have chosen Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley shows she's got ambition, and Trump does not like ambitious people. He does not want to be upstaged. That's the one thing I'm sure J.D. Vance has to understand. Do not upstage, because he's got to be like Pence. Quiet, meek. You got to be a background, be a yes man. Do not upstage this man. Otherwise, you're going to see yourself out. I mean, ask Rex Tillerson. What was that little dude from the South that Trump had as a attorney general?
J.S. Sessions.
Jeff Sessions, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Sessions. Yeah, Jeff Sessions.
Jeff Sessions. That little guy was loud, ambitious, and Trump eventually had to tell him, "You got to go." I don't want because Trump wants the spotlight always on him.
Yeah, but Sessions was holding them up on DOJ stuff too.
But he was a loose cannon as well. That was a problem with him. And he was an obnoxious little prick. Let's not forget about that.
Well, see, Trump actually, in the way that he did it, he knew the swamp was there. He knew that there was, people in there. We have to bring in some people. Yeah. So he attempted to bring in some of the people who were, in the organizations, and they backstabbed him, as usual, because that's what they do. But I think this time, he's probably learned a little bit from that. But I think that the attempts will not stop. I think that they will try to get him again, because I'm really apprehensive about it, because I've never seen the deep state in my whole life. I've never seen the deep state be so transparent in how they're doing things now. That really makes me apprehensive, because we don't have that much time left. Usually they have enough time so they can, do their machinations. Right now they got 4 months, and then they still got to pick a VP. I say my first thing was Hillary, an all-woman ticket. Okay, so she should go and get Susan Rice. She should go and get another black woman, make it double black ticket. Okay.
Susan Rice, okay, but the thing is like Hillary? No, because you know what Hillary's like? You know who the most people compare Hillary Clinton to? They compare her to Richard Nixon, because remember, Richard Nixon was a bit of a dick. Hence, of course, he was called Tricky Dick, but he was a dick. He just rubbed people the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? He was not a very impressionable person at times. Because remember, even Nixon said he had a list of people he liked and a list of people he disliked. He held grudges. He was vindictive. The Clintons, there have been some people have had some suspicious endings to their existences and whatnot. And they've had their scandals, but they survived their scandals. And Hillary, I think, is past her time. She's like, if you ask Van Jones, she's in her 70s. She's got to sit her ass down. And Van Jones, he's just doing what roly poly does.
Well, you think about what Van Jones said just in that other interview, where we said that black men, we sat out on Hillary.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? he said we sat out on Hillary. We didn't protect Hillary because we saw through the hot sauce. But with Kamala,
never forgot the super predator. They never forgot about the super predator reference when she was first lady.
Yeah, of course. Just like the racial jungle comments and all this stuff. And as we as Black people, my main thing is this. When we go to talking people of color, and I see how they have co-opted that word to no bounds, because they stopped saying, first of all, okay, we was going against being called colored people. First of all, okay, we didn't like that, right? We were Black Americans. Okay, they go African Americans, they go all these different terms, but now we got people of color. So now when we have our Democratic run establishment, we say, well, we're here for Black and brown people and people of color. So when we do that, I know they're virtue signaling to try to get the other votes, but at the same time, your base that you want to support for you just because of race politics, some of us as men see through that and like, well, hold on now, we need to be called Black and we want to be represented as Black people. So, we get Steve Harvey up there. He says, hey, I know y'all finna get ready to ask some questions. I wish you could pull it up, AB. He said, well, I wish y'all go ask some questions, man. But, they already gave us, he said this thing out loud. He said, they already gave us questions that we can ask her. So don't y'all be asking me about no reparations. And then she go to cackling, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, let me tell y'all, I'm not doing nothing for Black people specifically because I'm the American. And I'm like, hold on. What? Steve, come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, I should not expect nothing else from him. But, I mean, you're not supposed to say canned questions. I remember journalism was a real thing where people used to actually ask real questions. And the Operation Mockingbird has took over our entire media. And even the Republicans, Fox News the same way. They ain't no different. They all have talking points, man. And it's sickening because they have smart brothers that can actually be reached out to. Look at King Randall. And I bring his name up because Roly Poly attacked that man unnecessarily. Because he does have a school that he did for young Black brothers. And he's a young brother. I found out recently that he gave brother Umar over $3,000 for the school.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
$3,000?
Yes. He gave brother Umar 3 bands for the school after he already done set his school up, and they didn't talked about that man and called him all kind of coons and bootlickers and all this. And a number of Black boys at the school. You gonna talk about this man, and then he gave you money, and your school still ain't open. Make it make sense.
Has it even been built?
I thought he was buying old schools and renovating them, but I mean, it would be nice to build a new one with all the money that he's been receiving from our, from our people.
That is the question. You want to talk about reparations? Y'all be asking. Y'all should be demanding refunds because this motherfucker might have defrauded y'all. Y'all can take, and that's a federal offense, especially if he's done it in multiple states.
I call him the Pander African.
Well, Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style.
I can still do it. I still remember the dance steps, but
yeah, I'm about to shut down. Any last thoughts? I'm getting tired.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning over here, but I just want to say thank you for having me up here. Y'all ain't shit, and God bless y'all.
For sure, man. Appreciate you having me up, AB, man. It's always a great thing, man, when we come together, speak on these things, man. Free thinking Black men is always a good thing. Hey, I would like to ask everybody, man, who do you think that they're going to put? Because this is going to be very important. Because if they put a white man, like if they, try to go and get Buttigieg or something, they know we ain't going to vote for him.
Booty juice?
Yeah, Beetlejuice. Oh, Beetlejuice. We ain't vote for Beetlejuice. So, we ain't vote.
Buttigieg. I mean, first of all, that's not good for the optics. That's not good for the optics. Hell, I'll give you another example. I mean, like, you know, we talk about, what's his name? Vivek Ramaswamy for the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about him is wrong when you think about it. Wrong. He's wrong. He's the wrong complexion for the collection and protection, like we say. Wrong origin. Funny sounding name. Let's not forget, he's not a Christian. He's a Hindu. You know what that means? The man's a vegetarian. He's a strictly vegetarian according to his religion. You cannot, and how are you supposed to get, you know, endorsements from the meat industry when you have a running mate that's a vegetarian right there?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
question.
sure.
Second, same thing with Nikki Haley. I mean, she's from there, from a different part.
Correction,
They're
Nimrata.
Nimrata. Yeah. Randvana, Nikki Nimrata. Or Haley.
You know, a lot of the Indians that's here in America, they don't even support him. They think he's whitewashed. You know, he speaks nice. You know, he's done his research.
He's a little bit obnoxious. He's obnoxious.
He definitely is. And if he didn't get his wake-up call with Megyn Kelly, when she basically told him that, hey, you know, even though she's part of the
Ann Coulter.
Oh, yeah. Ann Coulter. She said, well, we're not going to vote. I'm not going to vote for you just because you're not white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, said it stuck her chest out and said it.
She wouldn't.
I call Ann Coulter my favorite cunt for a reason. My favorite
Yeah.
political cunt for a reason.
Keep in mind, folks, this woman may not, she would not vote for an Indian man, but she will date an Indian man. Dinesh D'Souza, anybody? She did date him one time.
Woo! She dated Dinesh D'Souza. Ugh.
Yeah, they were together for. Yeah, they apparently dated for a while. I think it was just for publicity. But let's not forget, she was messing with Dynamite.
Okay, on that note, I'd like to thank everybody that came through. This is AB Media 83, and that was too much information. I'm sorry, I'm out.
Yo, this is AB Media 83. Want to support the channel? Hit the Cash App. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Also, be sure to hit that bell notification so you can be notified the next time I upload a live stream or video. And always remember, keep it grinding, keep it pushing, keep it moving. This is AB Media 83, and I'm out. Peace.